these guys will meet and film for content. Where for me, I meet and film for the fuck. And it has to be about making, like, if I said, hey, I want to film with you, it has to be about me making sure you're comfortable.
Yeah.
The amount of people that message me going, you got me through lockdown and managed to keep me sane with your website and stuff. Like,
hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Hot Sandwich, the podcast about sex workers and sex industry. With me today, I have a wonderful guest, Rogan Richards. Hello, Rogan.
hey.
Okay, as usual, to all my guests, I ask the same questions to break the ice. Tell us where we can find you on social media, Twitter or OnlyFans, your website, whatever.
Yep. Website is roganrichards.com. That's my main platform. And there's a link usually to all my other social media via there. It is a membership-based site, but my blog page is free, which has a lot of information. My new Instagram, because they keep deleting me, is I am Rogan Richards. Just be careful, there's a lot of fake. My last account got taken down because they said I'm not Rogan Richards. And just at Rogan Richards Twitter.
I start with the usual question for everybody. When did you start? How did you start in the porn industry? Some background? Yeah, I can imagine. I know.
That's a long answer. The short version is I did a couple of porns for the completely wrong reason, which was to prove to myself that I could, basically, because I grew up very shy and insecure, and I always had this sexual beast in me, but I didn't know how to release it for so many years of my life. So I was always trying to unlock it. The first couple of porns I did were, just for me to prove, like, yes, I can do this, and I can be a sex god, and they were completely disastrous. I got back to Australia. My friend said, oh, how much did you get paid for those porn films? And it was shit. And he goes, you should escort. It was actually through escorting that my sexual confidence grew. I was bodybuilding, and while I was bodybuilding, growing up, I never watched porn. I used to wank to YouTube clips of bodybuilders and stuff, and muscle worship and flexing. Put a clip of myself flexing on YouTube. Forgot about it, actually. And a year later, I went back and I noticed that it had more hits than any of the other guys. A friend approached me to make a website, which was mostly just workout videos and muscle worship and flexing. 2012, when I started to gain some sort of popularity, that's when I went back to the porn industry. And that's when I officially say my porn career started. And the reason I did it was to gain followers and fans to then bring them back so they would join my website.
You, compared to some other people that I already interview and definitely in the industry, you try to promote much more your website that is like a subscription based compared to actually stay on, like, the fan page, like OnlyFans or just for fans or whatever. So you try much more to just use your website like your first main income instead of like using other platform. Is like good marketing for you? Is it working?
It was a nightmare getting my website made. It was a fucking horrible experience. And I was recommended to a programming company that said, oh yeah, we can do a porn, like a site that for you. By the time I found out that we've done sites like yours before, were more like lingerie sites, selling lingerie and selling panties and stuff, which is completely different to porn. Yeah. It was 2 years and 6,000 Australian dollars, and I never got anything in the end. In the meantime, a guy from incharge.net approached me and said, hey, I want to design a website for you. I've just spent $6,000. 2 weeks later, he goes, oh, I know you didn't want a website, but I made one anyway. And I clicked on it and it was fucking amazing. And ever since then, this guy has run my site. He's based in America. He's fucking amazing. And this was 6 months before OnlyFans started.
Okay.
So if there was OnlyFans, I would have done OnlyFans.
Okay.
But there was no such thing as OnlyFans. So, And then when OnlyFans started, I was conflicted because I thought if I do OnlyFans, then why would people join my website? At one point, I actually did start it, but it was around the time when it had started and it was growing. And then all of a sudden, everyone started to do it. And that's when I did. And there was a lot of technical issues. And I was seeing online on Twitter and stuff, people complaining, going, oh, I haven't been paid for my OnlyFans. I made about, I don't know, it was over 3,000 Australian dollars, and I didn't get any of it. I'm impatient and I just deleted my account. And it's only recently, the end of last year, that I've started an OnlyFans again. only because it's just the McDonald's of porn at the moment, and it's so easy. It's such an easy money maker. There's a definite separation between my OnlyFans and my website. You can't do piss, you can't do fisting, you can't do public, you can't do this, you can't do that on OnlyFans. So with OnlyFans, it's all vanilla, commercial sort of fucking with other OnlyFans models. And on my website, I get to explore all my, piggy, darker. I get to be me, put it that way. Yeah. Another thing also that I will say is I was in the porn industry for 2 years. The reason I left was I didn't enjoy it anymore. But my dick's quite connected to my head, and I also have ADHD. And if I'm not into what I'm doing, it doesn't work. And after 2 years, I just got over it. I realized that at that moment, if I stopped doing porn, I wouldn't have the brand or the career that I have today, because I was best known for my porn. I wasn't known yet as a bodybuilder or an online coach or a photographer or a filmmaker. In order to keep my popularity, I have to keep fucking on film, which I love to fuck. I'm a sex addict and I love to show off on film. But I knew it had to be real sex. It had to be guys I want to fuck with. It had to be fucking that I want to do. OnlyFans is the new porn industry. Great for these guys. They're earning their own money and it's a business. But these guys will meet and film for content. Where for me, I meet and film for the fuck, and then the filming is second.
Okay.
So I've gone months without filming anything because I haven't found anyone I want to fuck with. So that's another reason why I shied away from OnlyFans for a while. But I'm trying now to not be such a diva. And every time I end up in a different city, I get 50 messages from OnlyFans models going, "Hey, let's collaborate." Yeah. And I go, "Great. What are you into? Do you want to lick out my stinky pits?" And they're like, "Oh no, can you shower before we meet?" And I'm like, "Okay, no, it's not going to work."
Do you still have sex that you don't record at all?
Yes. There will be periods where I won't hook up with anyone other than escorting and filming, because I enjoy it. I enjoy the escorting fucking. You never know when it comes to filming whether the chemistry is going to be there or not. Yeah, there'll be times when I won't hook up. I wouldn't say for fun, but the work I do is fun. But I won't hook up without it being for film. Every single person who hits me up on Scruff and Grinder, I always go, "Hey, will I turn you on to film with me?" When I started my website, I never used porn actors. Even now, I try not to use OnlyFans models. I'm always attracted to just random guys who have no agenda other than they really want me to fuck them.
Yeah. Is this your only main source of income, or do you have also any other side jobs like
escorting and being Rogan Richards? Yeah, with my brand. There's the porn, the online coaching, the custom videos, the cam shows, the clothing, the merchandise. I used to throw clothes out, and now I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to throw these.
I'm going to sell.
I don't want this hat anymore. So I sell it. Now I go, hey, who wants to buy my hat? Actually, really grateful that after 10 years, only 2 days ago, where I was number 6 in the most searched porn stars of 2021. And I feel really privileged that after a decade, I'm still that relevant or popular, because in the porn industry, people just come and go.
Yeah. A little bit about your aesthetic. You try to recall a lot of the 80s. Is there a reason?
Yeah.
Or?
Is there a reason? Because 80s is fucking amazing.
I was not there, so it's hard to judge for me. But yeah, I can. Okay.
Wow, you just look at it. Just look at the 80s. It's amazing. You don't have to be there. 2 things. I grew up obsessed with American pop culture and the 80s. I'm always attracted to the aesthetic. Even porn. Like I look at porn and there'll be a porn from the 70s or the 80s, and I think the guys are so fucking hot. And then I look at today's porn. The aesthetic, the look, the music, the movies, everything.
It's a little bit related to what you say, and that just asking just out of curiosity. I mean, you're just a one-man job. You edit your movies, or you ask to someone to do. Okay, you do everything by yourself. Okay,
it's made me a little bit of a control freak. But when I decided to keep going with my website and to keep doing porn, I knew it had to be real. I knew I wanted to fuck with real guys, not real guys, not porn actors. And from my experience, like if you're just some guy who's not in the industry or has no interest in the industry, and you come into an environment where there's me and 5 guys as a crew, it's just going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I made a decision to film everything, just me and the guy I'm fucking, and a camera on a tripod. With my film background that I have, I'm quite a confident editor, so I could edit the footage to look like there was maybe a few different angles, and there's, I'm now starting to want to have a someone else there filming.
Yeah.
But the condition is that person needs to get involved as well. Like, they don't have to get on film, but they might fuck in between. It's still not like some random guy in a suit filming me and you fuck. He's also involved. So it's still it's still about the sex rather than the film. And it has to be about making, like, if I said, hey, I want to film with you, it has to be about me making sure you're comfortable.
Yeah. Do you still think the studio are important in the industry, are still relevant?
I don't even know what studios are still running, to be honest.
Okay.
Do you?
No.
Can you tell me what's
No,
creating stuff?
I have no idea.
I do know there are studios still making content, and they're still making money. And I do know that even an OnlyFans model might go to a studio to help promote themselves, to then maybe drag those people to go, oh, I really like that guy in that, whatever studio film. I'm going to go follow him now on his OnlyFans. So I guess in that respect, they're still relevant, and there's still that kind of concept that if I go to a studio film, I might broaden my audience.
Yeah.
But like when people approach me and say, hey, I want to be a porn star, I want to be in the porn industry, what do you recommend? You don't need a studio. You just need Instagram.
Yeah.
You just need Instagram and Twitter, your best studio and the best way to promote. And then, so if you have a business head about it, you have something that you can sell and you know how to sell it, you can make a shitload of money.
You lose some friends or you lose some family because you start with this job?
I kind of transitioned because, like I said to you, growing up, I was a very different person. So I transitioned from the person I was when I was born into Rogan, and I lost quite a few friends along the way just because they thought Rogan was a character, or he encompassed stuff like, piggy sex, porn, escorting, all the stuff that's taboo. So a lot of people thought, oh, you're giving up on your dreams as an artist or as a filmmaker or as a writer, and you're just going to become a prostitute instead. Whereas, I think I value sex work as much as I value a doctor's career. Or
100% agree.
Like the amount of people that message me going, you got me through lockdown and managed to keep me sane with your website and stuff. Like I didn't see it as, oh, I'm giving up on what I should be doing and I'm doing something wrong and dirty. I just changed my career, like going from instead of a fireman, you become a policeman. Instead of being a scriptwriter or a filmmaker, I became a porn star. I think it took a long time for a lot of friends to take me seriously. They thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
But I don't regret any of it. Escorting developed me personally.
Yeah.
That was my personal development.
Yeah.
And porn developed my career.
I already know the answer, but I will ask anyway. Do people recognize you on the street?
People don't really approach me like that.
Okay.
Maybe when I started my career, it happened a few times. I think I've been around so long now that people just go, oh yeah, that's that guy, Rogan Richards. It's more like I will hook up with someone and then eventually they'll go either at the end of the session or after we've hooked up a few times, they'll admit, oh, you were the first porn star I ever watched, and or you were my crush when I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
But like,
this is something that I still ask to everybody because I think it's very important to address. Do you think that porn can have any bad side effect on society? Because, you just like put on the screen this wonderful fucking sexy man that can fuck for hours. And, in reality, it doesn't happen all the time.
It's a double-edged sword. I've had experiences where I've talked to people where they mention something about, especially my studio porn, And I've had to say to them, that was acting. That's not real. And it surprises me how people don't separate the fantasy from the fiction. And that can be dangerous. Body image, body shaming, dick size, expecting that you have to have a certain dick if you want to be a top, you have to have a certain asshole if you want to be a bottom, all these things. Anyone who's personally comfortable or confident with themselves, they can access porn in a healthy way. Someone who isn't educated or is insecure or is unsure of who they are, porn can be either an inspiration or a destruction to them. Sometimes make people think sex is a certain type of way when there's 100 different ways. On the other hand, there's the people who are in the sex workers or the porn stars. When I was in the studio working for the studios, I am a piece of meat. I saw the dark side of the industry, and even I was treated like you are just a piece of meat, and you're everything to them one day, and if the next day or someone else comes along, you're just shit. On the flip side, I get a lot of messages because of you. I discovered I was gay and I became proud of it, or because of you, I grow my hair. Because I remember when I was young, I used to shave everything because I thought, because that's, you see all these guys on porn with smooth bodies, and so you're like, oh, I hate my hair. In that respect, I think porn can be a good thing as well. People go, oh, I never realized I was into foot fetish until I started watching your films. And now, I have had a positive experience, and I have had a positive feedback from the people who watch my porn. But I do acknowledge that it can also have a very negative effect. I have a growth fetish, so I needed to be muscly. I changed my voice, the way I talk, because I was camp when I was younger, and I embodied an image that I saw was masculine in order for me to be confident with myself and happy. But I've always said, you're fat, you're skinny, you're whatever, as long as you're happy and confident with who you are, that's all that matters. You don't have to change. I had to change to be happy, but you don't have to. And the most important thing is don't self-shame, find your truth, accept it and love it. And no one can put you down as long as you are comfortable and happy with yourself. According to the Bible of Rogan Richards.
Do you listen to your fans about what they want to see you doing on the next content, or you just do what you want and whatever?
Both. I do listen. I get a lot of guys going, I want to see you bottom, but it's never going to happen. Or if they go, I want you to do a scene with this guy, and if I know I don't like that guy, it's never going to happen. But I have always tried to keep communication open with me and my followers and my fans. With my whole career, I don't really know what I'm doing. Sometimes I'll post something thinking it's going to be really popular, and it's not. Sometimes I'll post something that I think, well, this is shit, and it'll be super popular. I get messages like, oh, I really want to see more pit, guy. I love your pits. So you should do a film completely about someone eating out your pits and stuff like that. So we're talking the same language now because I've been around for so long.
Have you ever Googled yourself?
Oh, all the time. When I first started doing porn, I used to read all the reviews. I used to pay attention to the porn awards, and it's like the best top, the best this. And I was never mentioned. I was never there. The reviews, I had a lot of bad shit talked about me. I learned very quickly that you can't please everyone, just please yourself. People are more inclined to want to complain or talk shit about someone rather than compliment. When I Google stuff like muscle daddy and I'm not there, I'm like, why aren't I here? muscle beast god, where the fuck am I?
Before closing, I have my last question for you.
Do you want to chew on your tits? Yes.
Okay, I will edit out this stuff, but
Why? You have to keep that in.
Anyway, before closing, what can we expect in the future from your website? Any new contents in the...
Oh my God, yes. I am planning on giving my website a facelift.
Okay.
Because it's been running now for 6 years. So it's going to have a different look, and I'm going to start trying to focus more on fetish-based stuff. So like armpits, like feet, like muscle worship. And in the meantime, develop my OnlyFans which needs a lot of work, in doing the more commercial vanilla stuff, and in working with other OnlyFans models. So I have two kind of platforms where they're very distinctively different, and the content is as best and high as I can make it. So that's my plan for this year. I know I need to work a lot on the bodybuilding page and also merchandise. I am, like you said, I am a one-man show, and it takes
it's a lot of work. I can imagine. But that's great. Thank you a lot for being my guest in this podcast. I really appreciate your time. Thank you a lot, Rogan.
Well, thanks for having me.